Your Honor, if it's all right, Miss Nichols will assist me with the faceboard so we don't waste time walking back and forth. That's fine. Go ahead, Miss Nichols. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, may we publish Exhibit 1? Of course. Mr. Adams, did Labrum have any particular position or rank in the gang? Yes. What was that position? He is the godfather. How long was Labrum the godfather? Ever since Blood Hound Brims started. Were there other? What was the godfather? It's the highest rank you could go in the chain of command. Were there other ranks, leadership positions in the gang, besides that of a godfather? Yes. What were they? The high old 20, low old 20, 5-star general, 4-star general, 3-star general, 2-star general, and 1-star general. And of the positions just listed, which is the highest? The godfather. And which is the next highest? The high old 20. And after that, the low old 20. Could you just go down the chain of command? 5-star general, 4-star general, 3-star general, 2-star general, and 1-star general. What sorts of decisions did the godfather make? The lingo we speak. He decides who goes on the chain of command. He decides the everyday agenda, what's going on with the gang, who's a plate, who's not a plate. What is a plate? Someone who's exiled. I'm sorry? Someone who's exiled. X'd out? Exiled. Exiled, I believe, Your Honor. Oh, exiled. Does that mean no longer a member of the gang? Yes. I'm sorry. I think you were listing things that the godfather decides. Do you want to keep going with that list? Kitty dues, anything that has to do with the gang. Okay, what is a kitty due? It's membership fees. Who pays the membership fees? Everyone. Who do the membership fees go to? To the godfather. Where would gang members typically get that money from? From whatever they were doing, whether they were working, selling drugs, robbing, whatever they were doing. What did the gang use the kitty dues for? Drugs, gun, parties, whatever they seem fit to. You testified the godfather decides the lingo. Yes. Can you explain what you meant by that? It's the way we speak so no one else can understand what we're talking about. It's codes. Who would you be worried about knowing what you were talking about? Rival gang members? Authorities? What kinds of activities could lead someone to be labeled as a plate? Fumbling the plate? Not following orders? Not paying your kitty dues continuously? What would happen if someone was a plate? What would happen to that person or could happen to that person? They'd get shot. What does that mean? It depends on where we at. If we in jail, get cut. In the street, you get shot. You mentioned fumbling a plate. What is fumbling a plate? You get ordered to do something and you don't do it. What is the something that you're talking about? Take a plate. What is taking a plate? Cutting somebody, shooting somebody, doing what you're told to do. When you first joined the Blood Hound Brims, did you have a position or a rank in the gang? No. What is that called when you don't have a position? A soldier. Did you eventually have other positions in the gang? Yes. What positions? 1-star general, 2-star general, 3-star general, the low old 20, and high old 20. Were you the high old 20 of the whole gang? No, I was the high old 20, Greyhound. What is the Greyhound again? It's the Harlem set. So did each pedigree have its own leadership positions? Yes. Who would decide who had rank in the gang? Godfather. Who made you the high old 20? Godfather. La. In general, how did people get leadership positions in the Blood Hound Brims? By putting in work. And again, what does that mean? To put in work. Causing harm to other people. Selling drugs. Whatever you had to do to further your position. How did you move from being a soldier to eventually being the high old 20 of the Greyhound pedigree? By taking a plate and never fumbling the plate. To be clear, were gang members in prison allowed to have rank in the gang? Yes. When the Godfather was in prison, who would lead the gang? The acting GF. If the Godfather is in prison and there's an acting GF, what is the division of responsibility between the two? It's the same. The acting GF just takes orders straight from the Godfather. Do women have any leadership positions in the gang? Yes. What position? GM, the godmother. What does the godmother do? She's basically the only one who's in touch with all of the pedigrees. She goes from pedigree to pedigree. She communicates the powwows, where they're going to be at. She goes to see the Godfather. You mentioned the word powwow. What is a powwow? It's a meeting. A meeting of who? Amongst us. Who can bring new members into the gang? Anybody who's on the lineup, except for the 1-star. How did new members join the gang? By putting in work. Who did you bring into the gang? Couple drops. I have a couple people. You said the word drops. What's a drop? That's what you call somebody that you bring in. Who did you bring into the gang? Can you give us some examples? Just Blood Hound, my little brother. Couple people. When you say a couple people, do you mean 2 or do you mean a few? A few. I want to show you what's been marked Government Exhibit 901. Do you recognize this exhibit? Yes. Have you seen this exhibit before? Yes. What is it? It's the structure, the chain of command. Did you help create this exhibit? Yes. Have you reviewed the content of this exhibit for accuracy? Yes. Is the content of this exhibit accurate based on your knowledge of what the chain of command of the Blood Hound Brims was? Yes. The government offers 901. Is there any objection? No objection. Government Exhibit 901 is received. Miss Harney, can we please publish Exhibit 901? Going through this chart, Mr. Adams, again, what is the highest ranking position in the gang? The GF. And on the bottom row, what is the order of the chain of command? You said on the bottom row? Yeah, the bottom row. The 5-star general, 4-star general, 3-star general, 2-star general, 1-star general. How many highs and lows were there in each pedigree? 2. I want to show you what's marked Government Exhibit 2. Do you recognize this exhibit? Yes. How do you recognize it? That's light. Government offers Exhibit 2. Any objection? No objection. No. The Government Exhibit 2 is received. Mr. Adams, did you know what Light's real name was? Yes. What is that? Brandon Green. Government offers Exhibit 2A and 2B, which are nameplates. Any objection? No objection. Government Exhibits 2A and 2B are received. When did you first meet Light? In 2011 when I came home from state prison. Where were you when you met Light? In Honeywell Plaza. What is Honeywell Plaza? That's where he lives. It's in the Bronx. How were you introduced to Light? La introduced me to him. How did Labrum introduce you to Light? He said, "This is the Hound, Light." How did you know that Light was a member of the Blood Hound Brims? When I was introduced to him and when I was in prison, he was like his name was on paperwork. It's like the 4-star. Objection. Sorry? If I could have a minute, Your Honor. No objection. All right. Go ahead. All right. You mentioned that Light's name was on paperwork. Is that correct? Yes. When you say paperwork, what do you mean? Lineups. When you're in prison, the lineup stuff, all of that stuff goes on paperwork. Is it written or typed? It's written in prison. In the street, typed. What would typically be written on paperwork? The lingo we speak, the lineups, the oaths. What happened when you first met Light? They was doing a video in his building. We talked for a little while. I told him that I had just came home. He gave me a gun and he gave me some drugs. Who gave you a gun and drugs? Light. What did the gun look like? It's a little black gun. It was a handgun. What drugs did Light give you? Cocaine. How much? About 60 grams. Why did Light give you a gun and drugs? Because I just came home and I told him I was messed up. What did you do with the gun? I held it for a couple weeks, 2 weeks, and La came and got it back. What did you do with the cocaine? I gave it to another hound named Dilly. What did Dilly do with it? He sold it. Every couple weeks he would give me some money. During the time that you were a member of the Blood Hound Brims, what positions did Light have in the gang? The high old 20, low old 20, and at one point in time he was the acting GF. When was Light the acting GF? Around 2011. When he was the high old 20, was that of the whole gang or of a pedigree? A pedigree. Which pedigree? The 220. What is the 220s? Bronx pedigree. Now, apart from those positions you just mentioned, what role did Light have in the gang? We used to call Light the plug. What does that mean? He had all the drugs. How do you know that? I dealt with him on numerous times, third party. Like I say, he gave me drugs when I first came home, and he used to give us drugs to go to Elmira with. I want to show you what's been marked Government Exhibit 712A. Do you recognize this? Yes. How do you recognize it? It's Light, La, and Meth. Government offers 712A. No objection. No objection. 712A is received.